sis and tell. A whole lot of talk, about a whole lot of nothing. Amanda does stand up, Alison's on TV, and when they hop on the phone, it's the place you wanna be. Sis and tell.
Hey, Allie.
Hey, man, what's going on?
Dreams do come true.
Oh, I'm so happy for you. I have no idea what you're talking about, but
I have always dreamt of having the house where all the kids want to hang out at, and I think it's happening.
that's so funny because just as you said that, I imagine you were going to say, I've always dreamt of having the house to myself where nobody is home, and that's what's happening in my house, especially after 2 years of quarantine.
I think
I'm so happy to be alone. So yes, but having a full house is also a good thing.
Right. I mean, look, there's definitely a line of leave my house and please come and eat my snacks. But yeah, Murray had a bunch of guys over for Halloween, and then he wants to repeat part of that Friday night after the big football game. And I'm just like, what do I do to keep having the house that the kids want to come over to?
3 words: food, food, and food.
Yeah, you know what? I had too much food. I went kind of crazy because he said he was having about 12 to 14 guys come over. And how many like pizzas would you order if you had 12 to 14 guys? Or how many slices would you?
I would order 4 pizzas.
Oh.
Why? I would figure at least 3 boys on a pizza. What did you order?
Well, keep in mind that I, of course, order through Papa John's because I have this freaking year supply of pizza gift card that I've been trying to make a hole in.
Yes.
And then Papa John's has a deal. They have like this $6 deal, right? There's certain things on their menu that everything is $6. And I've ordered so much that I realized if I get the $6 pizza, that is always the best deal. And it's a medium pizza, but it's still per slice a better deal than like the extra large or any promo codes I can find. So Ruby also was having a bunch of friends come over to get ready. So I got 10 pizzas.
No, you did not. 10?
Yeah, but they're medium. They're medium pizzas and 8 slices each.
Okay,
and
how many pizzas did you have left over?
Oh, like 6 pizzas.
Yeah, so
I mean,
10 minus 6 is what?
4.
Yes, and what did I say at the beginning?
I know.
4,
I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm saying I was wrong.
I'm just glad to know how right I was.
Right. Oh, thanks. But no, I mean, like, I was like, oh, we'll have some leftovers. And the pizza, these are small slices. These are not like the New York size slices. You know, they're little.
Right.
They're like almost personal pan size pizza. That's how small they are. But so much pizza. I even had like a hot chocolate bar. They didn't even want the hot. I had to like make people drink hot chocolate. I'm like, who wants hot chocolate? You're going to drink some. I like was making hot chocolate. I had whipped cream and marshmallows. And then I bought like all these different size marshmallows. And I was so thrilled to see that all the big marshmallows were gone. And I was like, oh, good. Everyone made marshmallows on the fire. And then I looked around.
Totally had a marshmallow hitting contest.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you're such a rookie. They threw those marshmallows at each other. Yeah, that was easy to spot.
Gross.
Okay, here's just a few pointers. Number one, when I say food, it doesn't have to be fancy. In fact, do not make it fancy because the fancy cookies versus the store-bought cookies will make no difference to especially boys. They just want some snacks. Also, don't over snack. I always keep a few fresh bags of potato chips and or Doritos in the house. I stopped buying Gatorade like 2 years ago because talk about the half empties that drive me crazy. They would have even the smaller versions. They would have half empties everywhere. So if they want something to drink, there are cups and water and they know how to get to the water. And then, the good thing is mommy is constantly baking and shoving stuff in my freezer, or I am shoving mommy stuff into my freezer. So I constantly just have an array of her brownies, her cowboy cookies, anything she has. And those boys think that is like God's gift to the universe.
Because it is.
It is. And so the fact that they get fancy cookies or fancy brownies from Nene is everything.
So also, if you had to troubleshoot, what would happen? And I hate microwavable popcorn. It smells so bad. Yeah. So I have like homemade popcorn that I make. It's pretty easy. Mm-hmm. But what would you knew what would happen with the marshmallows.
Yeah.
What would
And the
happen with
pizza.
what would happen with the popcorn?
Oh, it's just everywhere.
It's
It's
everywhere.
everywhere. It's in the crevices, it's in the
Oh,
couch, it's on the floor. And the worst is when it gets everywhere and then they step on it. So
oh,
then it's not only everywhere, it's the crummy, smushed everywhere. You had
it's in the
popcorn.
foosball table.
Again, rookie move. Rookie
I know.
move.
I
Here's what
know.
we've graduated to. I think you know this, but we have the boys over, well, pre and post COVID now, from what we now call Macaulay Shabbat, which Shabbat is our Jewish Sabbath, and Macaulay is where the boys go. And because we want the boys to be home for our Sabbath, but we said early on when Arthur was in high school, but you can invite whoever you want. So it turns into maybe 14 boys and sometimes girls, young women around the table for Shabbat. And it's not like they eat and run. They're there for 2 or 3 hours hanging out and talking, and I always make fresh challah. Well, I was hoping to have one this past Friday night, but it was a football game, and most of Levi's friends are these things called spirituals, where they're not cheerleaders, but they run around like crazy on the field. And they were supposed to go to the game, but they ended up not going. So this group of like 6 or 7 guys, like your house, they ended up in our basement. The cutest thing. So Levi comes up with one of his best friends, Henry, who's like, Miss Lebovitz, is there any leftover challah? I'm like, there is. I cut up all of the challah, put it in a Ziploc, and then he says, may I have some butter and honey too? Because that's how we eat
he
it on
knows.
Friday night. I
Yeah.
go, that made my day that you asked for butter and honey. He goes, I don't know how else to eat it. I said, nope, that's the only way to eat it.
That's adorable.
So these boys were happy with just challah, and I don't even know if they ate potato chips, but they're pretty, I have them well trained. They are very self-sufficient. They know where to go in my pantry. Sadly, they probably also know where to go in my refrigerator downstairs that keeps the beer, but they're not supposed to touch that. And they for the most part will clean up after themselves. Levi is probably he's the best cleaner of the bunch, and that's not saying much, but
Yeah, so regarding the beer, this is what I trust Murray, but he had like a dozen boys over, some of which were new to our house, and most of which I've known since they were in kindergarten.
yeah.
But kids are dumb and they do dumb things, so I hid everything. I took it, and we have a refrigerator in our garage, and sometimes Murray likes to take the guys in there to work out because we have all of our workout equipment. So I just preemptively took all that because all it takes is one kid being impulsive and grabbing a beer, which is so easy to
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
So, but now I'm like, ugh, I need like a refrigerator with a lock
You need
or
a refrigerator
something.
padlock. Yep, I knew this
Yeah.
was coming too. I have not. It's funny because even Arthur said that the rule was don't take any, no, there is no alcohol at my parents' house that is to be touched. Like if you happen to open a refrigerator, because we have like a spare refrigerator and then we have these drink refrigerators and things. So
The drawers too.
right. And before the boys were teenagers, we were keeping beer and stuff everywhere because they were clueless and they didn't care. And then it dawned on me the same as you. Oh my gosh, I've got to move everything to one place where I can count it, lock it. And I think number one, trust is a big thing. So with our boys, we say nobody's to do this. And if they break it, they're not coming over, right? Those are the consequences. And we know you like when people come over. But I have always said, to your point, there's got to be some invention of, and I'm picturing it where it is a lock that sort of holds the refrigerator together so you can't even open the door unless
Mommy, yeah.
you like undo this combination.
But Mommy and Daddy have a freezer that has a freezer key.
Right, which is
I mean,
brilliant.
it's
but
never locked. I don't know
no.
why you need
Why
to
would
lock
you
up
need
your
to lock
freezer.
the freezer? Yeah.
I don't know, because you don't want your meat
Vodka?
stolen.
Yeah, what were
You
they
don't want
keeping
your-
in that freezer? Yeah, what were they hiding in that freezer from us all these years?
Maybe
It
Mommy was
just dawned
making
on me.
other. She was making other brownies.
She had a stash of extra baked goods she was not sharing with us.
Right.
Yeah, the beer thing, I think out of sight is the best way. I think instead of like figuring out how to lock everything up, like even if it means like you have to get a mini fridge in your bedroom and you keep it
Right.
there, or just not, I mean, it's hard. Look, kids are tempted. And I won't say
Right.
our kids are not perfect, and neither are their friends. And so if it's just not there for them to tempt them, then that's the best case scenario.
I just don't want to be that house that someone sends their kid to and they end up with a beer, you know?
And this is
So-
where I think the practical conversations have to come into play. I watched an Oprah. This is This is a tragic story. I'm going to preempt
Oh.
it that way. But
Oh,
but
no.
there was an Oprah Imagine years ago. So I must have been in my 20s, and there was a mom whose kid had either, you know, hit someone because he was driving drunk or had gotten killed, whatever, equal tragic in both instances. The message was that she took responsibility for there not being a plan B for her son's like night out. That she and her husband had been so strict and said, you are not allowed to drink ever. And if we find out, I mean, just laid down the gamut because she believed that, which I don't blame her at all. I think she shares the values of most parents who don't want their kids drinking underage. However, she didn't balance it with that right? But if you get yourself stuck in a situation, and she said this on the show, she said, we never gave him an out, right? Like if you find yourself in a situation where you cannot drive home, you're surrounded by people who cannot drive home for whatever reason, call me, right? There's no situation so dire that you would have to drive drunk or drive with someone drunk. And she said, I wish we had given him that out. You know, like
Yeah.
looking back,
Which Daddy did.
presumed, which Daddy and Mommy always did, and we have done with our kids. We say, no questions asked, at least that night. There'll be lots of questions the next day, but there's no questions asked. If you need a ride home, and thank God now there's Uber and Lyft and things like that for our college kids, but they need to know what the expectations are, but also know that everybody makes mistakes, and if they make a mistake or find out they're in an unhealthy state, especially if you know, we don't even have girls. You have growing teenage daughter too, that they know that they can call us day or night. I even have, you know about the emergency bypass on the iPhone?
No, what's that?
Okay, so this is going to be life changing, especially for people who have kids that are in college or out of the house. So on your iPhone, I'm going to tell everybody this. So
Okay.
this comes up a lot because I, for one, I still sleep with my phone or have always slept with my phone by my bed. And it's mostly because if our parents are calling or if a kid calls, I want to make sure I hear them. But like everyone else, I also put my phone on vibrate or sometimes even do not disturb at night. And what I've found is there's a great way to bypass the do not disturb and the silent mode if you set it to a specific person. So if you go to that person's contact, okay,
Yeah.
so like I'm going to Arthur's contact, and you scroll down, or you go to their contact, and at the top right on your iPhone, at least, I don't know about other phones, is the word edit. Do you see that?
Yes.
Okay, so go to edit and scroll down a little, and you'll see ringtone. Do you see ringtone?
Yeah.
Click on ringtone, and at the top of
Okay.
ringtone, it says emergency bypass.
Got it.
You click that
Oh.
on, the little green dot will show, you press done and done. And now, if Arthur calls me or whoever you just did that for on your list, I'm going to go ahead and do it for Abe too, because I turned his off the other day. If they call in the middle of the night or call somewhere and it will absolutely break through and ring, this is a great thing. We just gave this as a hack for a friend of ours whose father is aging, and she tries to call him throughout the day from work, and he doesn't answer. And then by the end of the day, she's all worried, and he says, "Oh, my phone was on silent." So we said, you know what? Make sure that your number is emergency bypassed on his phone so that when you call, it rings no matter how his phone is set. I will say, if you're going to be in a situation where your phone should definitely not ring, let's say, I don't know, in your church, your synagogue, your mosque, a funeral, etc., make sure you have disconnected the emergency bypass.
Oh, yeah.
Because
Or you can just do
it
airplane
has-
mode.
No.
Yeah.
Airplane mode. Yeah. Airplane mode works. But it's a great hack for those of us who find ourselves in situations where we want to make sure that our children, our parents, someone can reach us in the event of an emergency or in the middle
Here's
of the
a
night.
question.
So,
Does emergency bypass, if my volume's all the way down, will it still make noise?
well, I don't know. Let's see. So why don't you put me on emergency bypass?
Okay, hold on.
Okay. We're going to try this out for our
First, I have
listening
first I have
folks.
to add you to my contacts. I'm joking.
Rude, rude, rude.
Oh my God, you have like 5 emails listed in here.
Oh, that's funny.
Okay, done.
Okay, so now how would you hold the phone? So turn your volume down I mean, if it's on mute anyway.
It's on. The volume's all the way down. I just didn't know if you meant there's like that nighttime thing
So
that you put on.
there's two things. There's one which is like you can put your phone on no ringer, and then sometimes that also means vibrate, or if you may not have the vibrate on. But there's also a do not disturb. Those are two separate
Right.
things.
Mine is not on do not disturb. So I want to know if my volume is just down. If
Oh,
it's
so
gonna.
if your phone's on normal but just your volume's down, okay,
Mhm.
let's try it. I'm going to call you right now. Put your phone to the microphone so we can hear in case it rings.
Okay. No, it's just vibrating. That's good.
Oh,
Because I got concerned about being in synagogue
okay,
or
that's
something.
good. So anyway, so that's my hack for anybody who cares or wants to use it. I hope it comes in handy.
Thank you for sharing.
Of course. So I had a funny encounter during Halloween. I'm not even sure if I want to admit it because it's a little embarrassing for me. But anyway, yeah, embarrassing in a good story. So I'll give in. So we typically don't have a lot of trick-or-treaters. So years ago, we started this tradition where we go to our friend Jill's house, who lives literally like the next street over. But since we're in a gated community, it's harder for kids to get in here. But she gets hundreds of trick-or-treaters. So Alan and I go over, our other friend Monique, and we drink wine and apps on the porch, and we give away candy. And I love it because I'm talking to every kid and seeing what their costumes are. So this one kid comes up. He looks to be about 6 or 7. He's wearing a Jason mask, right, from the horror film. And, of course, I pretend to be all scared. I went, oh, my gosh, oh, my God, look who it is. And I'm screaming, and all of a sudden he gently, very slowly lifts up his mask to reveal this precious little ginger. And he's kind of looks at me like, it's okay, ma'am. I'm just a little boy. And so I said, oh, thank goodness you showed me that it's just you. I got very scared. Come get some candy now that I know it's just, and we got inundated with trick-or-treaters at the same time. So there were probably 12 more kids who came up. He waited patiently while the rest of these trick-or-treaters left. And he says, excuse me, ma'am. I said, yes, honey. He goes, when you saw me originally, you said a very bad word.
What did you say?
And at this point, Jill and Alan and Monique will turn around. They're like, what? And I was pretty sure. I mean, I was, play acting, so something could have come out. But I was 99% sure I had not said any curse word. And I said, I did? I didn't even realize I'd said something. What did I say? He said, you said God. I said, what? You said, oh my God. And then I thought to myself, he heard me say that, but I'm pretty sure I didn't, because I am so sensitive about not saying, oh my God. Even our boys know not to say it. We say, oh my gosh, oh my goodness, because it is a sensitive, phrase.
When you're in the Bible Belt.
In the Bible Belt, yes.
Yeah.
And by the way, when we went to Israel the first time, I told them they could say it all they want. But here in the Bible Belt, I'm like, we do not say that. It's offensive to people. So I am hypersensitive about that word. So I sort of pushed back on the 6-year-old. I said, I'm pretty sure I said, oh my gosh, or I probably held the out for a while, so maybe it sounded like
Oh my God.
oh my gosh, And he's like, no, you said it. I go, I'm pretty sure I didn't. So now I'm sparring, having like a verbal altercation with the 6-year-old who, by the way, is wearing a Jason mask. So I'm not sure he has really room to debate me, because I'm thinking, do you understand? Like, you're scarier than me possibly saying. And I think I finally said, well, if I did, I am so sorry, but I hope you have a good night. And Alan is like, did you just get called out by a 6-year-old? And I'm like, I'm pretty sure I did. So.
Oh my God. But if that's so offensive to you, why are you letting your kid trick or treat, which is the devil's holiday? Like, oh my God, please.
I should have said that too. Next year, that'll be my comeback.
Happy Devil's Holiday. I hope the evils don't get you tonight.
Right. Do you realize you are celebrating a pagan ritual? Okay.
Right. All right. Bye-bye.
Right.
Pat him on the head.
See ya. Have an extra Tootsie Roll on me.
Oh, my Lord. Can you say that?
I don't know. I don't know what you can say anymore. I
I
try
just
not to
don't.
offend. I try not
I'm
to offend.
sorry. That is, I just, ugh.
I
Look,
know.
I understand if like how like those are bad words,
All right, now
but
I'm gonna have to bleep all these
I
things
know. Well,
out.
go ahead, bleep those. But God, that is subjective.
Right.
That is His bad word, not your bad word, right? And you weren't like,
Well,
I
I
don't
think it
know.
fits under taking the Lord's name in vain, which,
Yeah,
yes. So,
wha-
but I didn't say right. I didn't say
whatever.
like I didn't follow the name of God
And
with a
happy
curse word.
holidays, right?
Yes,
He'll
yes.
probably say that's bad to say too. I'm sorry. Now I'm ready to
I
argue with
know.
that
No,
6-year-old.
I need to bring back that little redheaded Jason. I was like, my sister has a few words. I should have said this to you. If you're listening, come back. Come to my porch. We'll
Have a
we'll
little
we'll
discussion.
we'll converse over candy.
So where were his parents?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know.
Could you
Probably
even, were they at the end of the driveway with their arms crossed looking at you and shaking their finger?
judging me, judging me. Yeah, probably.
You should have gotten your candy back from that little guy.
No candy for you.
Tell him to go as Judge Judy next year.
Well, I'll tell you what else was a realization that night. I thought about, I don't know if you think about this. Like when I married Alan, I had every instinct that he was going to be, he was a great partner, a great boyfriend, a great fiance. Turned out to be a great husband, but I really didn't know he was going to be such a great dad. And he is. He's an exceptional dad. And
Yes.
to be fair, I didn't know he was going to be such a great husband either. But I don't think people date other people. At least I was so young and you were pretty young, that you date them with this instinct of knowing, how they're going to parent. And I think well, maybe luck had something to do with it. It's also just, it's part and parcel with his personality. However, now that I am a parent and have been for more than 21 years, I can spot the signs of not just good parenting, but this weekend I spotted the signs of what will be a good future grandparent. Because
Oh,
he is so good with these little kids. We went to a Halloween party across the street where every kid was under the age of 6. And of course, we didn't bring our kids. I was gladly there drinking whiskey and hanging out talking. But every little kid is drawn to like this rock wall and 3 seconds away from stumbling and cracking their head open. Alan is literally across the lawn, like basically monitoring every kid in his purview, going, okay, oh, he's about to fall. Okay, I got him. And he didn't even know these people. We just met them. We knew our
this
neighbors,
is
but it's
this
all
is
new
funny.
people.
You know what? Because I have a distinct memory of Abe was just learning to walk. He was very wobbly. And we took a walk down your sidewalk, and I'm behind him with like my hands out, ready for him to fall. Like I was so worried he was gonna like hit his head on concrete. And Alan is like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm really worried he's gonna fall over." He's like, "He might." I'm like, "Okay." And he's like, "And then he'll get a boo-boo, right? Maybe he'll need stitches, but you can't walk around with your hands behind him. Just let him, if he falls, he falls." And I always remember that.
Yeah.
Like it's like good to be a little less paranoid and just let your like it's okay to have bumps and bruises. But it's so funny to hear that he's going to be like probably a lot more paranoid of a
But
grandfather.
then that makes sense because as a parent, we let a lot of things go. As a grandparent, I know mommy and daddy are much more neurotic around my kids when they were little than I ever was.
Yeah.
What if is he doing this? Whatever. We played that the recording years ago when mommy and daddy were babysitting my kids, and mommy couldn't couldn't find Arthur in the house and kept
Oh,
calling him
yeah.
and leaving him messages. Where are you? And he was in the shower. And I
Right.
mean,
And he
yes.
was 18
Yeah,
also.
and he was a
I
full
think
grown man.
that's an important distinction.
Yeah,
He
yeah. He was
wasn't
not 5. He
wasn't
was
even
like
8. He
17
was
or 18.
18.
Yeah, yeah. But also, so that's how I know because as a grandparent, you're much more neurotic around these little kids. He
Oh,
was
yeah.
it was so funny. I was like, he's going to be, not that, look, let's state for the record, we have no intention or expectation of being grandparents anytime soon.
You hear that, children?
Anytime soon. You hear
Yeah.
that? Not ready, not ready. Let's enjoy the sweet spot of our children being like on that adult cusp or even in adulthood and enjoy that for a little bit.
Yeah, with no grandchildren.
No
Let's hope there's a
grandchildren.
good gap between the two,
Yeah.
you know? Yeah, I remember when Murray was like 18 months old, we took him to this park to play and ran into this friend of ours who had triplets the exact same age as Murray. She's holding one. One is climbing onto the stroller, which is slowly tipping over, and the other one's like 40 feet away on some sort of play structure. And I'm like, how do you do it? And she's like, I just have to let things go.
Right.
She just has to let it go and know that, like Alan says, there will be bumps and bruises, and that's okay. Meanwhile, Aaron and I are like following Murray around with our hands behind him with like oven gloves or,
And he's
Oh,
on a
be
leash.
careful.
Right. He's
Be
got a bear on his
careful.
back with a leash
Don't,
attached.
don't bump your head. Right.
Well,
And someone made this contraption that fits on babies' backs, and it's like a backpack they wear. And if they fall over, it has like a cushion that comes out.
oh, that's
So they fall on it.
hysterical. It's like you're walking around with your own airbag.
Yes, it's your own personal baby airbag. Speaking of babies falling over, and Abe, when Abe was really little, Aaron and I had him on the bed in your bedroom, and he fell. Do you remember this?
No.
He was like sitting on the bed, and then he slowly just like leaned over, and it was such a slow.
Like fell off the bed?
Yes, but in between the bed and the wall. Like he didn't really fall off the bed. He fell like into the
Right.
wall, but like into the crack between. And we were both there like with our hands like this, and we're like, what's he doing? And he just and he was fine. And Alan came in and grabbed him from us.
That's enough. You two are fired. You're fired.
So can't tell if we're good or bad aunts or uncles, but we're pretty good parents.
You're pretty good parents.
At
You're
least
good
we have
aunts
a
and
good
uncles.
snack drawer.
A very good snack drawer.
So I know we talked about things to have to get teenagers to come over to your house so your kids hang out at home. But I feel like there's stuff that encourages me to go over to other people's homes, right? Like in our friends, the Silvermans, Joel always makes an amazing mixed drink. Like things I've never heard of.
Right.
He puts the best drinks together. But the best drink he has in his house is non-alcoholic, and that is
Is it Yoo-hoo?
seltzer.
Oh,
It's gross. Yoo-hoo. No, it's seltzer. And he got Rachel the best present, which is this commercial grade seltzer dispenser. And he connected it. It stands alone and has its like own giant canister, but he connected it so
it's like it's not like a soda stream though? That's just a little contraption?
It's kind of like a giant soda stream. It's something that would be in like in a bar.
Oh.
Right?
Like does he have the little gun that you're like
It's not a gun. It's like a faucet.
like a tap?
It's a tap. Yeah, it's a tap. And except he changed it so that he didn't have to constantly be putting water in there. He changed it so it was directly connected to his water supply at his house, and so he could use the bar sink. So he added the tap to be next to the water faucet.
Oh, that's awesome.
So he like put it underneath, and so he connected it to his house, and then realized one day that he did it incorrectly because he was taking a shower
Oh, no.
and noticed that the water was effervescent. So,
So did he shower and have a drink?
his-
Threw a little
I
lime in
know,
his
right?
hair?
right? What does it taste like? Warm seltzer water. But the entire house, all of the pipes had bubbles in it,
Okay,
had
that is
seltzer.
hysterical.
So he had to, I think as soon as he found out, he quickly realized he had like something had backed up and he had put something together wrong. So he turned it off.
Right? That's like a hidden camera show. That's hysterical.
But how amazing would that be for like every faucet to be seltzer water? I feel like your toilet would also be extra clean.
Oh
There's
my
something
gosh.
about the bubbles.
I think the toilet would overflow. Wouldn't it like get all
Would
bubbly?
have extra water in it. I don't know, but I thought that was amazing.
I want to shower in seltzer water. That sounds amazing. You wouldn't need a bubbly tub. You would just
Gotta
fill
be
a
good.
regular one. Yeah.
Is it good for your hair? Does it make it
It's
like
probably
extra
so good for your hair.
extra full? And
Exactly.
like that's my next upgrade. I do have a snow cone machine, but now that it's wintertime, I'm feeling like that's less of an appeal. I need something else.
Yeah, you've run out of your snow cone days. You're gonna have to wait till next spring.
Unless they want to like use it to make snowballs and have a fight or
There
something.
you go. Yeah.
Snowball
So,
fight. that's
hey,
what it
we're out of
says.
marshmallows, but I've got giant blocks of ice for you boys to throw next time you're at my house eating all the leftover pizza.
What could go wrong? Well, thanks for listening to the latest episode of Sis and Tell Podcast. Don't forget to share us with your friends, share us with your family, share us with your foes. We don't care. We want everyone to know.
As I didn't realize you were going to rhyme that in
Dr. Seuss.
Yes. As always, this has been Amanda and Alison with a whole lot of talk and rhymes about a whole lot of nothing. We'll catch you next time.